zeitgeist of the area. And I'll welcome you. If you've got a story and you want to share it with us so I can share it with everyone else, 08000 85 95 95. Now, this next guy, amazing story of triumph over real adversity, and I think it'll resonate with a lot of people. Now, earlier this morning, I spoke to Ian. Now, Ian's from Ingleby Barwick, and he popped into the studios and he told me about climbing Mt Kilimanjaro, was facing a very challenging time in his life. Let's dip into that conversation right now.
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. The toughest thing I've ever done. Actually, probably mentally as well, more than physically. With all the training I'd managed to do, that side of things sort of I was ready for. No one prepared you for the summit night. We didn't get the best of weather. We got high winds, so it ended up being at sort of 2:30 in the morning, being sort of -20, -25. And then you're literally on your own. You're just in a queue, single file, going up the mountain. So it's just you, your mind, and it's left foot, right foot, dealing with the altitude sickness. It becomes really tough.
But worth it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. When you get to the top, when you get to sort of Stellar Base and so before you even get to the summit, you sort of sit down and you see a spectacular sunrise at probably 5,300 metres, I think it is, something like that. And then you walk around to Uru Peak and it's just amazing. The sky's dark blue. The sun's just something else, yeah, and then there's snow everywhere, and yeah, I don't remember much about the top because of the altitude sickness.
Right.
Luckily I took plenty of photos, and there's memories there that I'll always have, but it's sort of all a bit of a haze still.
The only thing I can liken it to is walking up the steps to Whitby Abbey.
Yeah, I mean it's like
is it tiring?
It's like trying to do Rosebery Topping really hungover. That's how I liken it. It's like trying to climb a mountain so hungover and not slept for 3 days. Basically, if you don't sleep for 3 days, get really hungover and then try and climb something. That's what it feels like. That's the best description.
That's the best training for it.
It's the best description anyone came up with while we were up the mountain.
So that's metaphorically and physically the high point.
Yeah.
Take me back to why this all started.
So in mid-2018, my marriage came to an end. Didn't want it to happen, but it led to quite a massive downward spiral. Just basically sat there one day, just going to take my life. It's quite simple. I don't shy away from that. I was lucky in the fact that I caught a picture of my 3 kids. That brought me to some sort of level, and I picked up the phone to Samaritans. I had a good long chat with them, and they taught me how we were doing something really stupid that day. Promptly went to the doctors, had a chat with them, and from that they sort of said to me, what do you want to do? There's tablets and things like this, and I'm a stubborn so-and-so, and I wouldn't take tablets. But I was also back then sort of 5 stone, nearly 6 stone heavier now.
Wowzer.
Than I am now, 10 inches bigger at the waist. I was a big old lad, and I was nothing but a couch potato, really. I just got into that lifestyle of I have a job where I work away from home, so I was constantly driving, living in hotels.
Crisps,
pie, alcohol.
Anything.
Yeah, it was just a constant, that was just the way it was. So I decided, talking to them, they sort of said, well, if you don't want tablets, you could try exercise. So literally left there and went straight round to Bannatyne's gym, joined up and said, right, this is what I'm going to do. It's been a bizarre 2 years.
How would you reconcile in your mind? Is it weird when you look back those 2 years and you follow that journey to where you are now and you think, how the hell did these things happen?
For a long time, I was sort of focused on the negatives, because subject to that first time I tried to take my life, I tried another 2 times.
Right.
And, there's no point, you don't get better overnight, and it took me a long time to get to the point where I was even comfortable in my own skin. And the whole process I've been through is, yes, I summited Kilimanjaro, which is absolutely amazing, but to get to that point, between July and November of 2018, it was just go to the gym, and it was about just getting myself mentally better. But these things only work if you talk. That's the one thing I would say to anyone listening, is you've got to talk.
That's the hardest thing at first to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But that's where things like Samaritans are great. You pick up the phone, that person is completely non-judgmental.
Fascinating conversation with Ian. Real challenge that he's gone through in his life over the last couple of years. And as you say there, if you feel you need to talk, and in a non-judgmental way, you can always call the Samaritans like he did. They're open 24/7 on 116 123. And we'll get a second bit of the conversation I had with Ian to find out what he's up to and what his next challenge is next here on BBC Radio 2. Just before Wet, I introduced you to a guy called Ian, because this is our thing here on BBC Radio Tees. We want to hear your stories. If you've got a story, you want to share it with us, we can share it with everyone else. And that's what we do between 9 and 12 here on BBC Radio Tees. Simple number to get in touch, 08000 85 95 95. Now, Ian came in. Ian's from Inglewood Barwick, by the way, and he came earlier this morning to tell us about his incredible challenge over the last 2 years, where he went from trying to take his own life, not once but 3 times, to climbing Mt Kilimanjaro. So let's pick up now with the moment he decided he wanted to challenge himself with a mountain.
I just need a target, I need a goal, I need a big life achievement. And it started off with, I'm going to walk the Cleveland Way over 3 or 4 days. And I was just talking away, and then turned around to all the housemates, literally sat in a big group, and I've been sat there turning around. I've booked to climb Kilimanjaro. And everyone, you could hear a picture, everyone just looked at me and went, "You're going to climb?" "Yeah, I've booked it, I've paid for it, I'm doing it." And it was just that instant, I was like, that's what I want to do. So that's my target now, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to fly out on Boxing Day, and I'm going to summit New Year's Day 2020, and that's the start of my 40s, and that's it. There's no choice. You've got no choice now. I've booked and paid for it.
So what's the future now for you then? What is 2020 and beyond got for you?
I am going to do this year, just do the 3 peaks in 24 hours in this country.
Bitten by the bug now, aren't you?
Yeah. And I noticed I said the word just, and I keep saying this.
I know.
I'm just going to do this. Most people go, that's a massive challenge. It is a massive challenge. But you just get to the stage where, yeah, I'm going to do that. It's everything about me now is I need another target, whether that's healthy or not.
Well, it is, isn't it? It's
I'll
always...
let my council decide that whether that's healthy or
not. But it is, isn't it? Because it's nice to have something that you look forward to, and it's something you clearly enjoy.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it, is there?
Exactly. And then hopefully 2021, I'm looking at cycling Vietnam and Cambodia with my own 2 legs, not on a motorbike.
Are you a cyclist then?
No, I will be. I wasn't a walker when I started this. I do a bit of... seriously, that was always the joke, the highest thing. I hadn't even climbed Rosebery Topping when I signed to climb Kilimanjaro. You know, I didn't know what I'd signed up for. I did know what I'd signed up for, but I didn't realise the magnitude of what
I think if you do, though, you'd probably frighten yourself.
Yeah.
You need that little bit of... What is it actually going to be like?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to think about it, but it looks nice.
Yeah, it was ignorance is bliss all the way through.
Absolutely.
Even, Comic Relief literally days later, Comic Relief announced that we're going to do the Kilimanjaro challenge. And then there was a few others, things that had been on telly around then about Kilimanjaro. And it was like, have you watched it? No, I'm not watching it. Well, it'll be, no, I don't want to know. I do not want to know. And it actually came to bear on day 4 before we got climbed Barranca Wall. Didn't even know what Barranca Wall was, and it turns out it's a very steep.
I thought he played for the Borough.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. You know, there's like little tiny ledges to go up, really steep scrambles, and I'm like, if I'd knew that existed, I would never have signed up for this. So ignorance was absolutely perfect for me. You know, I turned up at Heathrow on my own. You know, I signed up.
How hard was that to do? Had you ever done stuff on your own before?
Yeah, well, my job involves me going into a room full of strangers and speaking, so I can do that.
You can do that.
So turning up Heathrow, it was sort of like, and that's the weird thing as well. You know, my confidence levels going back 18 months ago, there wasn't that confidence to be able to do that. Now,
no bother
whatsoever. I'm looking at, like they say, doing Vietnam, doing this, and like people are going, well, who are we going with? I don't know. I'll book it with an adventure company. I'll turn up and meet a load of strangers, and I'll just do it. I'll get on with somebody. But I was really lucky. In the group of 24 that I went with, we all got on. Every single one of us still keeps in touch. You know, it's been an amazing experience from that as well. Very life affirming. You start speaking about other people, about your journey, and there's people on that mountain that had very similar journeys to me. Some were actually just doing it for fun.
Fools.
Yeah.
What a story. I've got to have to curtail.
Yeah.
But amazing stuff. Look, I love you to bits. I've just met you, and I love you to bits. Your story is fantastic, and keep on keeping on, man.
Absolutely. Thanks very much.
Ever so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers.
Have you got a story like Ian's? You want to share it with us? I can come to you, you can come to me, whatever you want. Just get in touch and let's get those stories out there. And spread the word across Teesside, County Durham and North Yorkshire. It's a free phone number, 08000 85 95 95. If it's simpler so you can sit down and compose an email, it's garyp@bbc.co.uk. And Ian set up a Just Giving page to raise money for the Samaritans, who do brilliant, brilliant work. And if you want to contribute, you can log on to Just Giving. It's justgiving.com/fundraising/Ian-Dryden, Dryden 2. So there you go. Do what you can. And you know what? We'll finish off Gary's Gap after this.